Welcome to the Mastering Business Skills podcast, where we interview successful small business owners who share their own journey, mastering the skills they needed to grow and be successful in their business. Learn the struggles, the wins, and all the things they learned along the way, so you can cut down on your own learning curve.
Hi, welcome to Mastering Business Skills. Today we're talking to Shannon Carriere. Shannon is a people over everything HR expert that brings global experience across many industries, including manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, construction, and everything in between. She specializes in guiding leaders through sticky, urgent, and complex people challenges without the fluff. Whether building HR functions from the ground up or untangling growing pains, she's been the calm in the storm for leaders from startups to global organizations across the US, EMEA, South Central America, and APAC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm having fun already.
Yes. So I want to start by having you tell us a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to start your business, because I have to say I've had businesses for 20 years now, and the HR stuff, like, people assume that it's easy and it's really not. So
no, until you do it and then you never want to again, right?
yes.
I run an HR hotline for small businesses, and then I also support acquired businesses in early transition. And some of the reasons I've gotten into that, in corporate, I was on some really smart teams, like focused on problem solving and creating employee solutions. But nearly every time we were missing common sense solutions right in front of our faces. And even just working with leaders all of those years, I don't think I can even count the amount of times a leader has come to me just exasperated about a situation with an employee, so overwhelmed. And I'll say, have you talked to them about it? No. What? This is so basic, right? And that is part of it, is that I believe I can bring some of that common sense, pragmatic approach to folks who are so overwhelmed because they haven't done it before, or it's foreign, or someone's doing something they've never heard that could happen. And people do that a lot. Like, they surprise you with amazing things that they can do that you never thought were even possible. And so I can bring that to teams, and I really enjoy that work.
Nice. I remember years ago going to an HR course, like a 1-day workshop thing. And they were like, well, in this instance, who would be at fault, the employer or the employee? And, everybody in the room, myself included, was like, the employee. And they were like, no, the employer. And everybody was like, but how?
How is that possible?
What is that? And I know there's all these like laws that happen all the time that change and update and everything. And I feel like, yeah, if I had a brick and mortar business again, I would definitely need an HR person just to get through all of the technicalities and the paperwork and make sure we're doing the right things.
Yeah, even just to run something by. You're like, okay, am I crazy about this? And then I can tell you why you are or not.
Yeah. I can't even imagine having to be in HR, because I know things change so often. And that just scares the bejesus out of me to even think about having to do all the HR part. I mean, that's not my specialty, so that's why I would need someone like you. Because
you think about it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because I'd be afraid that I would say something to someone that it's like, oh, wait a minute, you can't say that, to an employee. And that would be my hugest fear, is that I would say something wrong.
My biggest answer to that is often, you can say whatever you want. It just comes with different levels of risk and what you want to tolerate. And it's funny now, because, we have a country with federal laws, and then every state has its own. And so you're really dealing, if you work in more than one state, certainly, you're dealing with multiple, almost different countries with the way they operate.
Yeah.
It can be scary for a business owner, right? You don't even know which way to turn.
Right. I can't even, I can't fathom that. So, Shannon, we talk about mastering business skills. So is there one skill that you've mastered that you can share with our audience now, and maybe they can start to learn about it or maybe implement it a little more from your suggestions and tips?
Absolutely. And I think this one is pretty underrated, so it may not blow you away or anything. But one thing I have really mastered is managing immediate prioritization overwhelm. Okay, so we all have these moments, right? So there's not a soul of us that doesn't sit down at their desk and look at their tasks and email and go, like, where do I even start? Like, I have no idea, right? We all do it, I don't know, once a week, at least for me, and trying to figure out what's happening. And so I've got like a tried and true way that I've picked up from people along the way. Okay, so here's what I do. I sit down and I say, what can I do on this list in 15 seconds or less?
Mm.
And then I do it. I do all of those things. 15 seconds or less, get it done. Then second, I say, what is going to make me or my clients money in the next 3 days? And I pull all of those to the list today. So not only is it valuable, I know I'm doing something valuable, I'm kind of motivated, right? Like, this is going to make someone money, right? This is going to be great. So I'm all in it. And then I'll look at what makes money in 5 to 7 days, and I put those a week out, and then everything else way past that. And that has saved me so much, I don't know, brain pain throughout the years.
Right. That's an awesome tip. I love the fact that you're thinking about what's going to make you or clients money in the next, little bit. That's a great tip. I'm going to have to implement that myself. I mean, I never thought about it that way, but it's like, yeah, that would actually kind of motivate me more, I think, to get to those. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And you get to the end of the week and you did things, you're like, okay, I mean, I thought it was going to make the money and I hope it's going to make the money. But you did everything that you could to do that. And you didn't get distracted with things that were maybe on the fence or gray on how they bring value.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Because I tend to do something similar. Like, people always say, like, do the big things first. And I'm like, I actually am the opposite. Like, I need to do the small things because then I feel accomplished. Like, okay, well, I just got those 12 things off my list. And now I can focus my brain power on the big things and not worry about the little things that are like just sitting on the side.
Well, they nag in your brain and they just accumulate and it feels like it's so much.
Yeah. And it's like, I can take, like, I worked from the coffee shop yesterday. I took like 2 hours and just did a whole bunch of things that, like, I've had on my list that I had to do, like little things that I just kept like moving over because they didn't have to be done that day. So I just kept moving them. And then I had this huge list of like little tiny things that needed to be done. And it took me 2 hours and I was done with all of them. And then I could section out the rest of my week. Like, this is what I have to do. These are my deadlines. And like you said, the future list, because I'll list them out so that I don't forget them and I don't have to worry about them being in my brain. But I also don't have them scheduled. Like, it's not on my calendar. Like, oh, I have to do this today.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
And if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting a business, what would it be?
I would say don't do it alone. You're starting a business because you are an expert in this business thing that you're doing, which makes me 99% sure that indicates you're not an expert in everything else. So invest in people you do trust to do some of those ancillary business efforts that are not in your expertise or even wheelhouse. And this might feel harsh a little bit, but if you can't afford to have some experts do what you don't know, maybe don't start yet. You need to get real about the time commitments on the things you don't know and the quality of work that you'll produce if you don't have people who get it. You spin your wheels a lot and you spend a lot of time not doing the thing you're good at and a lot of time doing the thing that you're not. Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of my, I mean, since I started, it was like, my whole deal was, you do what you're good at, I'll help you do the other things that, you can't or don't know how to do. So yeah, that's great advice. That is.
Yeah. And I had to take it myself, right? And I know it's you think of it as, maybe that's me saying, hey, you better hire me because you can't do this. But it's really more about me and the things that I have learned in the past couple of years where I have spent hours really learning something and going, man, if I had just spent a few $100s, maybe we could have gotten further and everybody would be making money sooner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of time you don't, especially when you're new in business, you don't think about the time to money ratio. Like what are you charging your clients to do what you're really good at? And what is it going to cost you to have somebody come in and do those things that you're not, versus you spending the time to, I mean, we've had so many clients that are like, I've spent hours looking at, all the help videos for this software and trying to figure this out. And I mean, I've been guilty of that myself. And then you realize, when you hire an expert to take over, they can get that thing that you just spent 12 hours trying to figure out, they're done in half an hour or an hour or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, great. So it just cost me X amount and I just lost X amount on
all of that
client work. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's the best thing I ever did, actually, was I looked at what my budget was and I said, how much do I have that I could lean in to do something that somebody could get done faster? And I picked that number and I found an assistant and I said, here's the number I've got. Do something with organizing my social media, which as much time as it takes for this amount of money, right? I chose the budget and they went and did it. And it was just such a relief off my plate to not be thinking about, am I going to schedule this here or what am I writing here? And I did all the content, but she took care of just making sure it made sense.
Right. I mean, that's like bookkeeping. Yes, I can do it. Do I like doing it? Absolutely not. And it is so much better when I have somebody doing it for me. And I mean, I know that I could do it. And it's just a matter that it's not something I enjoy. So why am I going to spend my time, on doing something I don't enjoy? So
and you're more likely to procrastinate doing it because you don't like it. And then who's going to do the books?
It will. I will put it off until I'm in a panic then because things have to get done. And it was like, I can't keep doing this. So no, hiring someone to do those things either you can't do or you don't want to do, that's great advice. Truly. So talk to me, Shannon, a little bit about the HR hotline. I know that there's so many entrepreneurs that would benefit from a service like that, where they can get projects handled or even urgent questions answered without having to bring somebody on full time.
And that is it. And the hotline itself provides personalized HR discussions, right? You're not calling a call center who doesn't know your business. You're talking to somebody who knows it. Templates, some small projects for companies that just aren't in the stage of needing someone full time, but have been around the block long enough to know that they don't want to wing it on the people side of things. They don't want to guess. And I'm sure both of you know that preventative efforts cost far less than the reactive recovery. And small businesses rarely have the margin flex for the price difference between the two of those. And so if they can understand and try to get on the preventative side, we can really save them in the long run.
That's awesome. I know there's so many people that would benefit from that. I mean, I think that's great.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about success and what it means to you versus, and has that, definition changed over the years?
So I actually wrote about this recently on a post. So at my junior year of college, I had a strange, young life crisis and decided to leave school, but I had to meet with the dean of students before, and he asked me that question. And, what does success mean to you? And so I can confirm my early definition of success was something like, I don't know. That's all responding when he said that. So it has changed since then. And I measure my success a lot on how I manage my seasons. And right now, my season is family, summer, and prospecting. And so when we finish it, I can let you know, but I'm holding myself accountable to being present and intentional and a little adventurous this season. So those are the things I'm looking for from myself, and try to each season challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone and do something a little wild and crazy that I wouldn't before, either personal or in business, right?
Yeah. What adventure do you have plans for this season? If you have that worked out yet.
Yeah, so I don't have any big adventures, but this season my adventures have been very small, but they've been about saying yes when I normally wouldn't say yes. So, and this is going to be silly, but I recently went to a trip with one of my kids for a baseball tournament, and I normally would not want to do anything, right? So I don't want to engage with everybody. Let's go to the baseball games. Let's go home. Let's rest and things like that. But it was an opportunity to say yes to doing an alpine slide and going on a waterfall hike and other things that I just may not have pushed myself to do if I was in a mindset of protection, which I think I catch myself being in that mindset occasionally when things get hard. I protect and I stay close. And I was trying to challenge myself to get out of that shell a little bit.
That's awesome. So yeah, the seasons, that interests me. So you have seasons that you plan out for your business?
I can't say,
I love that.
I can't say they're well planned. I can't say they're well planned, but I think that at least for me, I will have really busy seasons with work, and then I will have less busy seasons. And so when I get into those, they may just have a different approach. So right now I'm in a medium busy season, if you will, which tells me that I also need to get business for when that medium busy season ends. So that's why I've chosen prospecting for this piece of the season, to make sure I'm preparing a little more long term for what's coming up.
I think that's a great idea, because I think sometimes as business owners, especially if you're just starting out, you don't maybe understand that there's going to be really really busy times, and there's kind of slow times, and then there's like the dead times. And
Right?
I think that's something that our audience needs to think about, because there are going to be those times that is going to be basically dead in your business. So what are you going to do, to fill that time? If you're not doing client work, what are you going to be doing? So I think that's a great way of looking at that. And I've never thought about it in seasons. I mean, I know when my busy time is, when my less busy time. Not so much the dead times anymore. It used to be around the holidays, but that's, I think, since COVID and everybody does online now, I think that's kind of affected my dead time to very little dead time.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was one of the first lessons I learned, though, right? So I was very busy. I had great contracts at the very beginning, and I just worked in the business doing everything. And then all of a sudden the contract was over, and I went, wait a minute, what just happened? And you have to all times have a piece of prospecting or marketing that's going, to make sure that you don't run into that. You can't get so caught up.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful. So what's the next skill you plan to master, and why that skill?
Okay. So I'm excited about video. So the work that I do really requires more than someone just needing work done, because there's a lot of style of HR out there. And I'm sure you've heard enough HR horror stories to write a set of encyclopedias about bad reputations. And a buy for me needs to know what style of HR I am, right? They need to know who this is and what they're getting themselves into. So I am going to test some video out to see if I can showcase personal style and help people see more of that, and that I'm not part of their horror stories. I'm really part of some good solutions that they can build upon.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
I think Sharon and I kind of
Wow.
like put off like video and doing things for so long. I know I just had this conversation with somebody recently that I put off launching the podcast, even though I wanted to for years, because it was that fear of like, what will people think and will they like it? And will they, and the fear of the online trolls and things like that. And you just overthink things to the point. And then finally I hit this like season of my life where I was like, just don't care. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna do the things. And I'm looking at everybody else doing the things. And I was like, they don't care. So I'm not gonna care either. And that was what prompted, the launch of the podcast. And I think even Sharon was kind of like, I don't know about a podcast,
Erin was
but it's
kicking
grown on her.
me the whole way at first because I am an introvert, and I was like, really? You want me to do what? So yeah, it was a big deal kind of for us, but I agree with Erin. Finally, I think the older I get, it's like, I don't care, I'm gonna do my thing. And so yeah, she did have to pull me into it, screaming a little bit, but I got there.
She did admit that it grew on her after a little bit.
And now she wouldn't do it any other way.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
You want to do another one, Sharon? 2 podcasts?
I wasn't sure about it at first, but now I really enjoy it. So yeah, that's been a good thing.
it's Sharon's season of getting out of her shell.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's a little bit of a struggle, but I'm trying. I'm trying. But I've always been the one that's been behind the scenes. So video editing and all of that has always been, I enjoyed that. Being on video, not so much. But I'm slowly getting into it.
Yeah. Have you learned anything as you've gone through the video piece, or things that you're actually pretty good at from a video perspective?
I've learned to kind of loosen up and not maybe necessarily worry about what other people are going to think about what I say or what I do, or if I look like a complete dweeb, from the video. It's like, okay, that's who I am. So I try to kind of relax a little bit. And the first couple that we did, I was pretty stiff, I think. So I think I've kind of gotten into it a little bit more. So yeah, I'd still much rather be behind the scenes and editing videos, but that's okay. I'll still edit this videos.
So, Shannon, what's next for your business?
I think along the same lines, I did recently actually start a YouTube channel, and it's to tackle baseline HR issues that businesses need to stay out of trouble. So you will see me not mastering that at first, and I'm confident that I will get better every day. Some of my favorite people say you have to go out and win ugly. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to win. It might be a little ugly, but I'm going to win. We're going to figure it out.
Well, you're doing it, so that's already a win. So, to me, that's already a win. So
taking the risk, you put yourself out there. I mean, what is there really to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're only going to improve as you go on. It's just like with anything else. You set your mind to it, you do it, and you're going to learn along the way.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Even
looking forward to it.
With our videos, it was looking at the big names, like Marie Forleo and Brenda Burchard and all of them. Like, I've followed them for years, probably from the time they started their videos, and what they're showing now is very different from, like, if you go back and you look at their first videos, it's like it's just the same as the rest of us starting out our videos. So that was kind of for me the push. Like, everybody, even the big names, started out being, like you said, like, it was a little ugly at first, and it wasn't, you didn't have the great backgrounds and the professional talking and all of the things that you do as you get used to it over time.
Right.
Yep. And
it's encouraging.
You're going to share your YouTube channel link with us, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because then we can put it in the show notes so everybody can get those HR tips.
Check it out.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So I think that was all we had as far as questions today. So I am going to, like I said, put everything in the show notes so everybody can find you and reach out to you, and hopefully connect with you on LinkedIn, get some HR tips from you, and follow you on YouTube too. And thank you so much for your time today. And to everybody listening, we hope you enjoyed the episode and that you will join us next time.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you so much.